This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC Jacksonville. I'm going to give you guys my most confident picks, favorite underdogs, the lock of the week. We'll talk prop/value bets and then finish it out with the parlays. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure to share the video as well. Looking back on last week from this show, we lost the lock. Brundage pulls out of the fight. Doesn't happen. Drug testing issue. Then scrambled because I was like, okay, what can I look for as a close money? I was trying to get plus money, but ultimately got a near even line, and we went Bondar. And that was the fumble of the century. Absolute dominance by Carlos Hernandez, who finishes it out with just brutal slam into ground and pound. I know it was technically a decision, but he knocked Bondar out. It was a sick performance from him. It was a shit performance from the late flip to me. Ultimately, it wasn't from this show. It was in the post weigh-in show. But yeah, I got to get back to my groove. I got to get my fire back. I was pissed about that one. I still, right now, feel as though Brundage would have been a sure casher. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it, but bringing the fire. And we're doubling down this week because not only am I bringing the lock, I'm putting a shoey on the line with this week's lock. But first, let's talk about some of my most confident picks on the card. We'll bring them up right now, and let's talk about these four. We'll just read them off in order and then get into each one. It's Tatsuro Taira, Randy Brown, Amanda Ribas, and Ilia Topuria. Let's first talk about Taira, who is Japan's brightest prospect right now, especially flyweight division. Minus 250 as the favorite against Clayton Rodriguez. I see him with the clear grappling advantage and taking a smart path to victory, which is looking to get this fight on the floor. Clayton Rodriguez has tremendous Muay Thai. He has a lot of power. He's super explosive, but Taira can get a hold of him and control him, and potentially, I think, second towards the end of that round, third round, submission wins. So Taira, minus 250 money line is not a great tag, but with the most confident pick section, you guys know the drill. It's not necessarily just looking at the line for the best value, but it's going to be what I'm feeling are high confidence picks. Round minus 250 for Taira. Looking at the submission prop, if Taira were to win by sub, it's plus 135 as well. Don't love the sub prop at plus 135, but I do think Taira ends up getting this thing done by a submission. He's a high confidence pick, and I really feel like he's Japan's super prospect right now. And I see him getting it done. Next, as far as the most confident picks go, Randy Brown, who welcomes Wellington Turman to the welterweight division. Randy Brown's a minus 220 favorite here, and he has a pretty clear striking advantage, I feel, in this fight. The biggest danger for him would ultimately be getting caught in a submission on the ground. Nasty armbar from Turman. I do think that Randy Brown's takedown defense, his clear speed and length advantage are going to be major factors to winning this fight. I see him touching Turman up, and, you know, historically, I don't think dropping in weight class is always the best move. Turman, fairly young guy, so maybe it proves to be right for him, but I think Randy Brown has too many advantages over him. Striking department, wrestling department, and even in the grappling game, I would say Turman is offensively more impressive than Randy Brown. It's not like Brown doesn't have a jiu-jitsu base. I like Brown to win. The money line side, fairly wide, minus 220. I think he is getting it done, potentially by KO. So to read off that line, Brown by KO is plus 190. Near 2-1 for that. Is it a lock that he KOs Turman? No. But he definitely has the boxing chops to slowly wear Turman out, keep him away, and beat him up. So I am calling officially a KO, TKO in that fight. Randy Brown around that minus 220 tag. Next is Amanda Ribas. I really think she's going to win. The concern is going to be, does she get robbed on a split decision? Macy Barber's good at winning these split decisions, guys. So if it is long and it's close, I'd probably shit my pants if I'm on the Ribas side. Though I am on the Ribas side with confidence, and I'm ready to fucking hold this shit back because I think that she's definitely going to be clearly better than Macy Barber. And I kind of feel as though she's winning it 3-0 here. So minus 200 for Ribas. And I think winning it on the judges' scorecards is the most likely outcome. Looking at it, Ribas to win by decision, minus 115 for that. Fight going long, going the distance is minus 190. I do believe that it will go distance. I think Ribas getting her hand raised on the scorecards with a better grappling game can match her in the striking. Ribas for the W. Moving down to the final on the most confident pick section, obviously before the lock of the week. Ilia Topuria, which is a minus 310 tag for him against Josh Emmett, who's a great fighter, or extremely good fighter. I don't want to use the word great. I feel like I'll overuse it if I call Emmett great. A real good fighter. Ilia Topuria, freak athlete, crazy knockout power. I believe, though, where he really shines is his grappling. Doesn't always have to showcase it because he can work the hands beautifully, but he's nasty on the floor, and he's the prospect on the come up. To me, Topuria finds a way. I think knockout is potentially likely. I know some people like the sub side. Minus 310 for Topuria money line. The KO prop, which my guy Mike Finch doubled down on, is his lock of the week at plus 165. I do think Topuria by knockout is likely. Inside distance, minus 225. You just lost all value if you decide you just want to go inside distance. So Topuria to win, high confidence. All four of these are high confidence picks, not the greatest tags ever, but high confidence picks. I do also want to bring an honorable mention to the slate that I feel like finally is in a good spot. Zhalgas Zhumagulov, he's an honorable mention here. And I do feel pretty confident he wins. He's minus 200. Expect to hear Zhumagulov's name when we talk parlays, because I got an interesting one that features a little OV action. Guys, most confident pick section, but you know what time it is now. Let's talk about my favorite underdogs on the card. Let's start it off with an OV underdog, Loik Radzebov, plus 130. He's fighting Mateusz Rebecki. Nick Fior found success in the striking department. I feel like Loik Radzebov is a former PFL finalist and very experienced at high levels of mixed martial arts. He's got a live chance to beat the much shorter Rebecki here. I think he can match him with striking and hurt him with an overhand. I think he can match him in the wrestling and actually be superior in the offensive wrestling. I feel like Loik Radzebov is an extraordinarily live underdog at plus 130. The knockout prop, I did call a knockout, but it's a riskier play. Plus 650 for KO. There's a real chance that Loik wins it on the judges' scorecards. Let's be fair here. But plus 650 is an extremely good line. Knockout prop possible. The OV dog for the win, just money line it. Next one as far as dogs. Jillian Robertson against Tabitha Ricci. Listen, when Jillian Robertson switched camps and said she's going to the goat shed, her entire game changed. She was more dominant on the ground. She was more confident everywhere. Beating Rose Namajunas in grappling, I think, changed her life. Tabitha Ricci's a good prospect. She's got fast hands and obviously is very high level with her jiu-jitsu. I think Jillian Robertson, being the bigger girl, has a strength edge. Close and competitive fight, I'm saying Robertson to edge it out on the scorecards. As far as Robertson by decision, plus 235. I feel like Robertson's winning it plus 120. And what's going to be, maybe odds-wise, not a crazy upset. But as far as for the people, I do think it would be a big upset. A lot of people like Tabitha Ricci and see her as a real future contender and title challenger. But let's note something. Jillian Robertson and her are the same age. Robertson, sure, she's got a heap of losses, but that's a fuckload of high-level experience. I like Jillian Robertson to win. She's going to beat Tabitha Ricci on Saturday. And then the next one, and the final one for this dog section, is going to be Philly Fresh Phil Rowe at plus 140. I think he has a real chance for a late TKO against Neil Magny. I will lean you towards straight money line, but I have to mention TKO for Philly Fresh is plus 450. Obviously, him and Neil Magny are the same height, and there's a half-inch reach advantage for Phil Rowe. Neil Magny has never faced off with somebody with longer arms than him. That's going to be an interesting accolade. Then you look at the grappling skills. Phil Rowe is a very active loser, rather, in grappling. Doesn't win all the grappling matches he's in, but he's gone out there with the highest level Gordon Ryan on the ground. He's got great experience from those. And then you look at Neil Magny, he's going to want to control against the cage, work his takedowns, and control from top. I think Phil Rowe is going to be a hard guy to get a hold of. I think it's going to be a struggle for Magny on the feet. And ultimately, I think Phil Rowe's got the stopping power to put his lights out. I'm going Phil Rowe, third round knockout. The money line is plus 140, though. I do think that's a great tag. Those are 3 dogs on this card that I really like a lot here, and I think have a super high probability of actually coming through. So looking forward to the fights on Saturday, cashing some of these dogs. Tune into the Fight Companion and watch me sweat these dogs out. But you know what time it is, guys. Lock of the week.
Fighting out of Brisbane, Australia, Justin Bagman Tafa.
The lock this week, it's Justin Tafa looking to bring me back from a little bit of a rough slump. I'm ready to turn things around with Tafa sleeping him. Tafa by first round knockout. I think he's going to destroy Austin Lane in this fight. Tafa's a minus 180 favorite. Yeah, not the greatest tag. I see him even as low as minus 170, so he's around that range. I think he's winning this fight, sure thing. He came in the UFC at 3-0. Yeah, now he's 6-3. He's 3-3 in the UFC. Austin Lane is 12-3, and don't forget, he's been knocked out. Greg Hardy, 1 touch. Frank Tate beat him on the regional scene, slept him. And I think that Justin Tafa is going to find the tall football player chin in this fight. Now, Austin Lane's 12-3. He's got a slew of experience. But the man who's fought the higher level opposition time in and time out is Justin Tafa. And it's not close. When Tafa and him strike, I think the southpaw stance is a factor. Having a powerful lead hook, a big overhand. The taller guy in Lane who comes in and squares up and flurries shots is going to get caught and put to bed. And don't be surprised, too, though, in Tafa's grappling resiliency and also potentially offensive grappling. He's an evolving fighter, and don't just look at him as this one-dimensional striker. He's developing his game in and out constantly. He's a young man in the heavyweight division, and I think he's putting Lane to bed. He actually made a joke on Media Day making fun of football a little bit. Obviously, the Aussies are big rugby players, so a little, rugby versus football action here. We're going rugby all day. Tafa is going to chin him. He's got the better striking. He's fought at a higher level. He's a fucking specimen, can take a dynamite punch and deliver even more dynamite back. Knockout win. As far as the knockout prop, Tafa is sitting at minus 110 for KO. You can find it slightly at plus 100. It's even pretty much line for the KO side. I think Tafa's putting him to bed. I can't wait for it. I liked watching the Media Day because it gives me even more confidence in Tafa. I really feel like this is a great matchup for him. I think he's putting Austin Lane to bed, and we're cashing it with the lock this week. And I will say, I said in the beginning of the show, I'll say it again. I'm putting a shoey on the line for this one, but you ain't seeing no shoey, because Tafa's getting a knockout in the first round. I will also bring up first round knockout out of curiosity for Tafa, plus 160 for that one. That is this week's lock. It's now time to talk about some props / value bets. Let's bring the odds up on the screen here. Looking at some lines, I want to bring up a couple of them. The first one is going to be Cody Brundage to win by submission. I am pretty confident Brundage wins the fight, but I didn't feel as I wanted to include him in the most confident pick section. Brundage by sub, plus 160. I think he's got a real good chance to win by submission against Cedric Dumas. Real good chance. I got another submission call in the next one. It's Brendan Allen to win by sub. He's not a bad tag, minus 180. A little bit chalky, sure, but I do think he's got a real chance to beat Bruno Silva. I see a clear path to victory. But I did say in the breakdown, 20% chance Bruno Silva's got a lot of power and can put people to sleep. I think Allen is ready to make the turn to the highest of levels. Maybe not top tier like world title, but he's really broken into that top 15. Bruno Silva is a dog, obviously. Allen minus 180. The sub prop, which is, I think, a pretty okay tag. Plus 175, plus 150. Brendan Allen to win by submission. I see him doing it. I'm going Allen by sub in that fight. I like Brendan Allen a lot too. Another guy that could have easily been an honorable mention in the most confident pick section. And then the next one, I did bring up Zhumagulov as an honorable mention. I do also want to mention the over 2.5 at minus 200. pretty damn likely we're going long when these two face off, man. He's fighting Joshua Van from Myanmar. I like Zhumagulov to control with a bit of clinch, a bit of takedowns, mix it up fairly well in the striking, and take out the 21-year-old. So Zhumagulov over 2.5, and also for the win. Those are the prop/value bets, and it's time for the parlays. Let's parlay some shit up. First parlay I'm going to bring up here is going to feature Justin Tafa. It's also going to feature Ilia Topuria, who's in the main event, and Tatsuro Taira, plus 186 for these three. I do believe these three favorites are coming through for us. If you're like, yo, I want to stay off the first fight, and you didn't have Taira, Tafa Topuria, plus 105 range. I think that's actually a real solid play. Amanda Ribas, assuming she doesn't get ripped off on a decision, I see a clean win. Now you got 2-1. That's a beautiful tag, actually. I like that one a lot. I'm going in a different direction for this next one. It's going to be the OV supremacy play. We're going to go Zhalgas Zhumagulov, and we're going to line him up with Loik Radzebov, who's a dog, plus 250 for the OV parlay of the week. Listen, the OV's been struggling lately, but they're coming through. The powerful last two letters of those last names are going to be victorious this week. I do have a strong feeling about it. Now, I'm going to also give you guys a little bit of an alternate parlay with some picks that I feel definitely should win, middleweights, but, you know, to mix it up. I want some versatility. Plus 145, plus 147, Brundage, Brendan Allen. Decent little play if you're looking to mix things up. If you also like the over in the Zhumagulov fight, minus 200, now you're at plus 270. This is a sneaky play as well. But I know a lot of you will be like, yo, keep Brendan Allen off. I don't want to risk it. Some of you will be like, yo, I'm not on the Brundage side, but I'm with you. I like that over. I think that there's a real good chance that it comes through. What if we went over with the Mac Tafa for the win, plus 136, then you added in Ribas, plus 257. Interesting. This one's another interesting one. You can take them out, and you want Taira, plus 230. If you want Topuria, we go plus 206. Some good ways to mix and match. I do want to get a little bit crazy. You know, I don't want to just keep it all on the safe side, but those were safer siders, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but I wanted to, go a little nuts with it. We'll put the OV, Rebecki, what am I saying? Radzebov against Rebecki. We're not picking Rebecki. We're on the opposite side. Topuria in that main event, plus 369 now for these. Who do I want to bring in our slate? I was trying to leave the female off of it. I think we'll put Zhumagulov plus 619, but that's risky, man. Ribas is a good one. I really see Ribas clearly winning the fight. I just worry, judges' scorecards sometimes, get a little bit out of hand, especially with the women's fights. Shit can go fucking crazy. We're going wild with this one with the plus 1,000 tag, looking for value. We got Loik Radzebov, Justin Tafa, Topuria, Amanda Ribas, and Brendan Allen. We add in Brundage. At this point, I might as well just let it all flow. Taira. This is degeneracy. This is lottery ticket shit. I feel like there's some good ways to play it. I like the parlays this week. Obviously, the early ones I gave off that stir more on the safer side. Did I leave Randy Brown? I can't leave out my guy Randy Brown. And we got one with Randy Brown, too. We got Randy Brown, Justin Tafa, and Ilia Topuria. Plus 195 for this one here. Another one with a good chance. And if you add it in, if you do like Ribas, plus 346. If you like Brendan Allen, plus 600. Yeah. These are A1, man. I feel like these are some solid-ass fucking parlays. Tafa, Topuria, Ribas, and Allen, main card dominance, plus 385 for that one. And if you took off Brendan Allen, you're like, yo, I don't want him in my lineup. Totally get it. Plus 209, Tafa, Topuria, Ribas. I think all three are winning. Those are the parlays. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I hope you guys enjoyed this entire show. It's a blast as always. to break it down with this week's best MMA bets. Make sure you guys smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Definitely let me know what you think of the picks in the comments. Specifically, what is your guys' lock? I'm curious what you guys are locking up this week. Much love to everybody. If you got nothing to say in those comments, but you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.